Don't miss this historical event, Groundings with my brothers and sisters, a holistic health conference. Link for tickets in the description below. You've been very public about your weight loss journey, right?
Yes.
What was the key factor in you losing weight and keeping it off?
I wish I could tell you there was one key factor. Huh.
And the reason I asked that, because you're a man that deals with systems, I want to know
Yeah.
the system you created to lose the weight and the system you created, because I know you had to keep modifying the system.
Oh, yeah.
And learning more about yourself.
Yeah.
So please share.
All right. So here's the thing. We as a people have been poisoned, right? Processed foods are poison. I ain't saying I don't enjoy processed foods. I do. But the people who make Fruit Loops in America also make Fruit Loops in Canada. And the stuff that you put in the Fruit Loops in Canada are a lot better than the stuff you put in the Fruit Loops in America, right? So that's one. Two, black people eat their feelings. Divorce party, food. Funeral, food. Wedding, food. Promotion, food. Everything, food. So we eat with absolutely everything, right? Then we say things that are cute because we understand spin and marketing better than anybody. Oh, you know, Miss Jenkins, man, listen, they about to cut off her foot. Why? She got the sugar. So what I saw happening was from 2019, a buddy of mine who had beat cancer 4 times lost his battle the 5th time. And it got to a point where every time I was like, you ain't dead yet? He was like, nah, I just keep beating this cancer, Dave. I just don't want to go out. And then I saw him go out and he was physically fit. My brother was a cop. So there's a level of physical fitness you have to have in order to do that job. He got a heart valve that went bad and they said, we can replace this with a pig valve or titanium valve. He said, well, what's the difference? They said, well, the pig valve will last you 25. The heart valve will probably last you 50. He said, the titanium valve will last you 50. He said, I'll take the titanium. He took it. 1 in 300,000, according to what the doctors told me, I'm not a medical professional, don't hold me to it, develops a fungus. Well, that fungus spread and it killed my brother. Thank you. My friends kept dying. People who I had known from the 19 states I lived in doing radio and television were dying, and they were all in better shape than me, right? Had a conversation with my family, and it wasn't an easy conversation. And at the head of that conversation, my wife says, I'm upset with you. And I'm like, for what? She was like, yo, you promised me forever. And I'm like, I'm here. What's the problem? She said, how many 561-pound elderly people can you name right now? I do not argue with logic. I do not argue with facts, right? And so I said, I got to do something, and I got to do something extreme. So I did a lot of extreme things. The first thing I did was I went and got a therapist and dealt with the fact that I had inherited genetically my mother's emotional eating. And that's not to in any way disparage my mother. If my mother were here, she would tell you she's an emotional eater, right? So I had to remove my emotional triggers from food.
What
right?
was it? Was it anger? Was it anxiety? What
All
was
of it.
triggering?
All of it. Bro, do you know what it is to be the kid that's supposed to make it? Do you know what it is that when you are the kid that does make it, everything that comes with that, and everybody who has this huge, I've got text messages from people in corporate broadcasting saying, yo, you know, there's a target on your back. That's a direct quote, right? Because that, like, go watch my first Breakfast Club interview and look what Charlemagne says. Oh yeah, man, I don't know how you produce Ricky. How do you sit there and produce somebody you know you're better than? Do you have any idea how trauma-inducing that question, even though he wasn't wrong for asking it, do you have any idea how trauma-inducing that question is? Right? Do you have any idea what it's like when all of these moments, these linchpin moments that most people would only get one of, if ever, were supposed to be the thing that was supposed to catapult me and didn't?
Were you big early on, or you put it on working?
I was never a big kid. I thought I was, but I had a growth spurt when I was a senior in high school. But the mindset had been, because kids were calling me fat, I thought I was fat. And then I started ballooning in college. And then you get in radio, and radio, you're in a box for at least 4 hours.
I was going to ask, with the radio, due to the stress and the workload, do you think that played a role in regards to that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When Puffy come to town, what you doing? You going to dinner? No free costs. Right. No Diddy. When the record reps come to town, you going to dinner. When you are
Nice drinking, I know I go fire.
yeah, it's food everywhere, and you're not exercising. There's no There's no standing desks at the radio station. There's a nice comfy chair. You can adjust it. You can stand up when you want to do your talk race, but everybody's sitting, right? Going to any radio station in America, most people are sitting. Sitting is the new smoking. We know that now. I didn't know that then. Then imagine that you put your neck out for somebody who you thought was your best friend, and as a result of them, corporate, telling him that, he's trying to stab you in the back, he's doing this, he's doing that, and I don't know why he sent you that thing from the consultant, even though they're telling me to send the thing from the consultant, even though they're not telling him that they're going to replace him with two kings of comedy and a former host of the Showtime at the Apollo. Imagine losing your friends. Nobody's allowed to talk to you. Imagine losing the person that you were with at the time, because when the money goes, does the honey stay? You feel me? Then imagine losing your home and all the worldly possessions that you have are now in a truck. Now imagine you ain't got no money.
At one time.
Yes. Now imagine you don't have any money. So what are you doing? You're the dollar millionaire. You going through a drive-through. Because what else is there? And imagine the psychological toll that takes on you at a time where there was no such thing as black men going to therapy. Not making excuses, I'm just painting the picture. Right. So yeah, I ballooned up to 561 pounds, and I go from that to yet a situation where I figured out how to make blog talk work for myself. And then I helped start Spreaker, right? And then now here comes corporate, like one more time, Ric Flair.
One question I have for you personally and what's going on mentally. What were you like? How did you feel about yourself with the weight? Because we have this, what's the term we have? Not body shame, not body acceptance. What's it called?
Body positivity?
Body positivity. So,
bruh.
Just tell me, how did you feel about yourself when you were at your biggest?
I hated myself. Not because I was big. I hated myself because it gave people a license to disrespect me. Because the most acceptable form of discrimination in America is picking on people who are overweight. Even the term big back is offensive. I use it because I can. I mean, I'm black. I can use nigga too. You know what I mean? But the reality of it is we can say that it's unhealthy. And there are people who are literally framed that way. Not many. Most doctors will tell you not many. And even then, I had a conversation with David Banner about this. He was like, yeah, I want to get down to 215. I said, Banner, you're in the best shape of your life. Why 215? He said, because even if I'm carrying 250 pounds of muscle, it's still 250 pounds. It's going to put a strain on my heart, which would lower my life expectancy. I said, I can dig that.
I respect that.
Yeah. So for me, I hated myself because that's all you could say. You couldn't attack my intelligence. You couldn't attack my resume. You couldn't attack my pedigree. You couldn't attack the woman I was with.
So hold on. People would personally say something to you about your weight?
Yes.
Jokes?
Yes. I'm in a room with comedians, bro. Do you know what it's like when Ricky Smiley, J. Anthony Brown, and Bruce decide to do 35 minutes on your hips? Bro, do you know the psychological toll that takes on you? I do have feelings, and at the time, I'm a 28-year-old kid. I'm not an almost 50-year-old man, right? So yeah, it took a toll, and I hated it, but I never felt like I was in a prison. I never felt like those people in 600-pound life because I was living good.
All right, let's go back to the process of losing weight. You have the conversation.
Right.
What was the system you created to lose weight?
Right. So the first thing I did, I spent a year losing as much weight as I possibly could on my own, right? And with that, I went and hired nutritionists. I went and found a therapist, and I talked about my relationship to food. I figured out, I didn't know what the hell macros were. I'm not that kind of genius. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to learn new skills. I had to understand that food is fuel. It's not for pleasure, right? We treat food like we have like porn. It becomes a whole thing. Instagram was built on the fact that people love food porn, right? So I had to get through that. And then it got to a point where I just kept hitting a wall. I lost 92 pounds, just kept hitting a wall. I might get up to 100 pounds of weight loss, but I couldn't get past it. So I'm floating anywhere between 468 and let's say 460, 461, right? 459 maybe. And I met with a doctor who I met with 1,000,001 times just to shut my family up, right? Okay, I'm gonna meet with the surgeon. Okay. But the last time I met with him, he was like, why won't you do this? I'm like, because it's cheating. I'm not gonna cheat. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. It's do or die. He said, oh, don't worry, you'll die. And I was like, Doctor, of course. He said, no, listen. He said, listen. He said, I've been waiting for this one. And he pulled out a binder and he was like, give me all the questions you got. I said, well, how many people have died on your table? 6. I said, 6 people? He said, yeah. I said, well, how many of these have you done? He said 10. I said, 10,000. I said, oh.
Being a comedian.
Yeah, he was trying to be funny, because at this point he was pissed off because he felt like I was wasting his time, and rightfully so, because I was scared. Black people in hospitals and surgeries, all of that becomes a trauma too, right? So he said, this person had a heart condition you don't have. We've run every test on you, this, that, and third. You've lost 92 pounds on your own. This is a tool. There are people who get this tool and they still balloon up. It's all what you decide to do with it. I said, all right, fine, let's do it. So I went and I got a vertical sleeve gastrectomy, commonly known as a gastric sleeve. But then I also picked up karate, Kempo and Krav Maga specifically. I do kickboxing.
Hey, Krav Maga for 2 years, bro.
Let's go! Woo! All right. Anyway, so I do about 16,000 steps a day, right? I lift heavy things and I put them back down. I'm really big on my protein, right? I have this thing where I have a 9-year-old who is very low on the autism spectrum, but she's autistic. And she wants to be able to play with her daddy. And she ain't trying to hear that daddy can't get up and daddy's tired and daddy can't get off the couch, right? You married? So you know what it is to have a honey-do list. You know what it is. You come downstairs and all of a sudden your wife goes, "Hey, honey, do you mind going upstairs and finding the comb?" Now all of a sudden you're on a scavenger hunt, right? Like all that up and down the stairs. Like, bro, I'm literally, the scene in The Nutty Professor where Sherman Klump becomes Buddy Love and he's like, "I'm the stair master." I had to make it make sense. And then I had to adjust to the fact that I was hitting a wall again. And I said, okay, I understand all of this stuff, but now I need a trainer. So I went and got me a trainer who also was morbidly obese at one point and then got her body to a point where, because I needed somebody who could understand. I don't want you if you're an American Gladiator. You can't relate to this. I need somebody that loves a buffet. I need somebody who's like, hey, man, you know what? We're going hibachi tomorrow. No, here's what we're going to do. And that made it a lot easier. And so my trainer says to me one day, she says, Dave, have you ever done a pull-up? Trauma. Because I don't know if you've ever been the fat kid in elementary school trying to do the pull-up. Probably not. You're an athletic guy. You played ball. But for me, gym was torture because I can't, none of that. And I said, yeah, I said like 2025, we're going to get on pull-ups. But like right now, we lifting heavy. Like, let's get these RDLs in. And she's like, all right, cool. Good workout. I'll see you tomorrow. So I'm looking all over the next day for my trainer in the gym, and she in the middle of the gym over by the pull-up machine. I was like, what the hell is Tracy doing at the pull-up? It's like, Dave, remember you said you were going to do pull-ups? I said, yeah, 2025, I got you. Let's go hit these RDLs. Nah, today. I was like, what you mean? No, today is the day. We rejecting that. And she was like, yo, you can do this. Just breathe through it. And I started doing pull-ups.
Like, how did that make you feel?
It made me realize that, not to take my good friend Masterpiece phrase, but there's really no limit on what I can do. I can do anything. This machine is designed to do anything.
I'm laughing because listening to the business bully, right?
Yeah.
You have that mind frame with business, but it seemed like you were limiting yourself in regards to your physical capability.
Of course. Everybody let me explain something to you. Do you know why kryptonite was invented?
Please explain.
Kryptonite was invented because people rejected the idea of a godlike being with no flaws. Everybody's got kryptonite. Everybody's got an Achilles heel. Mine was food addiction. Mine was the fact that I could not get my body under control. And before somebody gets in the comments and say, well, he's still kind of big. I'm 249 pounds. What you're seeing is skin. I got some of it taken off, but you can't get it all taken off at the same time.
I lost 200 pounds.
No. I lost 312 pounds.
312 pounds.
Put some respect on my name.
There's nothing to comment about,
Right. Like, until you've done that, until you've lost 2 or 3 people, I don't want to hear shit about what you got to say. But the thing of it is, it was my kryptonite. And I made the statement to my family. Yeah, when I lose this weight, they ain't gonna have nothing to say. My wife laughed out loud and she was like, yeah, they will. They're gonna find something else. They're gonna be mad about something. So I had to learn to do this not just for my family, but I had to do it for me because, bro, I don't know what happens. I mean, I know, as a minister, what's supposed to happen, but nobody knows what happens when you check out. We don't know for sure. And so I want to live the kind of life where it's epic.